Yo, what's good everybody? I'm your boy Jadiro, and this is my leveling guide for Rogue in Season 3, let's get it. And the first things we're going to talk about today is the aspects that you're going to want to make that leveling process much easier. And the first aspect we're talking about today is the Blade Dancer's aspect. The core ability that we're using for this build is Twisted Blades. And the Blade Dancer's aspect gives Twisted Blades an AoE effect, which will help speed up your wave clearing process. And you can find the Blade Dancer's aspect in Jalal's Vigil in Scotland. And where we're putting this aspect is on our necklace. And the second aspect we're going over today is the Vengeful aspect. The Vengeful aspect gives us a 40% chance to increase our critical strike chance up to 9%. Dummy. Higher crit chance, higher damage output. And you can unlock the Vengeful aspect by completing the Inferno dungeon in Kyrgyzstan. And we're going to put the Vengeful aspect on one of our ring pieces. And the last aspect we're going over today is the Infiltrator's aspect. And the Infiltrator's aspect allows our Poison Trap to no longer break our stealth. It also allows Poison Trap to have no cooldown and activate when we break stealth. I'll go into more detail about this later. It's definitely a fun one to have, it's not absolutely necessary. You could also go Edge Master's aspect if you can't get your hands on the Infiltrator's aspect. And you can acquire the Infiltrator's aspect by completing Chapter 2 in your seasonal journey. And we're putting the Infiltrator's aspect on our second ring piece. Alright, so that does it for all the aspects you're really going to need to make your leveling experience better, but let's go over some defensive aspects next. So as you venture later into Tier 2, just to give yourself a little bit more resilience, you're going to want Aspect of Disobedience. This allows us to gain armor for any form of damage we do. And armor reduces the physical damage we take. And you will most likely put this on your pants piece. And you can acquire the Aspect of Disobedience by completing the Halls of the Damned in Kyrgyzstan. And the last defensive aspect I want to talk about here is the Resistant Assailant aspect. This aspect grants us when breaking Concealment, we get 10% resistance and maximum resistance to all elements for 4 seconds. It also grants us when killing an elite enemy, it reduces the cooldown of Concealment by 6 seconds. Huge. And one thing I'll go into later is how we're using Concealment and Poison Trap in tandem. Alright guys, that does for all the fundamental and defensive aspects. Let's move on to the primary and secondary skills next. Alright guys, so we're going to go over all the primary skills first and then the secondary skills, and then I'll explain why we're taking them. And by popular request, you guys asked me to get a build planner, so I went to Mobalytics and I got one for you. So I'll publish this build on Mobalytics once I'm done doing this video, and I'll also include a link in the description to Mobalytics so you can see this build for yourself. That way you can go over to Mobalytics and you can see all the aspects I recommend that you take, pushing through World Tier 2 into World Tier 3. And that way you could toggle on leveling, and you could see the way I invested each skill point all the way to level 50. But back to the skill tree guys, for our basic attack we're going Puncture, then we're going Enhanced Puncture, and then we're going Fundamental Puncture. Now Puncture grants us energy regeneration and a chance to make our enemies vulnerable. Now down to our core skills, we're dumping a full 5 into Twisting Blades, 1 into Enhanced Twisting Blades, and 1 into Advanced Twisting Blades. Now Twisting Blades slightly reduces the cooldown of our other skills and increases its own damage. Perfect. Now down to our agility skills, we're going Shadow Step, Enhanced Shadow Step, and Disciplined Shadow Step. Now Shadow Step increases our critical strike chance to enemies we hit, and it also reduces its own cooldown. Now down to our subterfuge skills, we're going Poison Trap, Enhanced Poison Trap, and Subverting Poison Trap. Now Poison Trap knocks down our enemies and increases our damage to poison enemies. Then we're going Concealment, Enhanced Concealment, and Subverting Concealment. Now Concealment when proc grants us energy, and it also makes enemies vulnerable when we break our stealth. Moving down to our imbuement skills, we're going Poison Imbuement, then we're going Enhanced Poison Imbuement, and then we're going Blended Poison Imbuement. Now all I have to say about this is damage, damage, damage. Next, we're skimming right past ultimate skills and we're going right into key passives. Now you got two options here. You can either go Momentum or you can go Close Quarter Combat. I find that Momentum is better for speed leveling and efficiency. However, I'd recommend you take Close Quarters when you're leveling through World Tier 3. For today's build though, we're going Momentum. And the Momentum key passive allows our Cutthroat abilities to grant us stacks of momentum. And at 3 stacks of momentum, we get increased damage reduction, increased energy regeneration, and increased movement speed. Alright guys, that does it for all the primary skills. We're going to work our way backwards and go through all the secondary skills next. And in our ultimate skill category, we're dumping a full 3 into Haste. This will grant us alternate moments of increased attack speed and increased move speed. Then we're going to dump a full 3 into Adrenaline Rush so that every time we move, we get increased energy regeneration. Next, we're going to dump a full 3 into Trap Mastery. This gives us a 12% increased critical strike chance every time we proc a trap on a vulnerable enemy. Then we're going to dump a full 3 into Innervation. This gives us a 30% chance to gain 8 energy every time we hit. Now we're going to move up to our imbuement skills. And we're going to dump a full 3 into Precision Imbuement, and this grants our imbued skills 9% increased critical strike chance. Huge. Then we're dropping a full 3 into Deadly Venom, and this increases our poisoning damage by 9%. Now we're going to jump all the way up to our subterfuge skills. Then we're dumping a full 3 into Exploit to increase our damage to healthy and injured enemies. And then we're going to dump a full 3 into Malice to increase the damage we deal to vulnerable enemies. Now moving up to our agility skills, we're going to dump a full 3 into Weapon Mastery, and this increases our damage based on the weapon we're using. And then we're going to dump a full 3 into Concussive so that every time we knock down an enemy, we increase our critical strike chance by 12% for 4 seconds. And moves like Poison Trap knock down our enemies. Now jumping up to our core skills, we're going to dump a full 3 into Stutter Step to increase our movement speed. And then we're going to dump 2 into Sturdy just to give us a little bit more damage reduction. Alright guys, that does it for all the primary and secondary skills. Let's move on to the Rogue Specialization next. And for Specialization, we're going combo points. This greatly increases the damage of Twisting Blades. So every time that we use a basic skill, we get a combo point, and then at 3 combo points, we use Twisting Blades, and we get that damage output. And additionally, it grants us movement speed. And guys, once again, I thought I'd plug Mobalytics one more time. If you want to go over to the skills category, all you have to do is swipe this to leveling, and it'll show you the exact path I took, all the way to level 50 for every skill. And I will include a link to Mobalytics for this build in the description. Alright guys, that does it for the Rogue Specialization. Let's move on to the Seneschal next. Alright, so as for our Governing Stones, I suggest you go Reconstruct, and I suggest you go Firefly or Tempest. I suggest going Reconstruct just simply because it heals you passively in and out of combat. And it definitely makes the solo leveling experience a breeze. And as for Firefly and Tempest, it just grants you additional damage as you level through the game. And the only 2 tuning stones I really suggest you take are Safeguard Support and the Resource Support. This way you're getting a little bit more damage reduction, and you're also getting a little bit more resource regeneration. Guys, once I level this rogue up to World Tier 4, I'll go more in depth on the Seneschal for rogue. Alright guys, that does it for the Seneschal. Next, I'll be talking about the best spots to farm experience, to get you to level 50 as fast as possible. Now the first place you can go is the Dopamine Tunnels, or the Dopamine Tunnels. I call it the Dope Tunnels, all the way in Scotland. All you have to do is go into the first room and keep farming it over and over again, but I found that it is efficient, but it's kind of boring. The 2 best ways I found to farm XP was by doing the seasonal objectives, especially the ones that reward Grim Favor. Also, you want to complete the seasonal quest line first. That way you have access to the vaults. But the best way to get experience, Seneschal Stones, and dope legendaries is the Herald of Malphas seasonal objective. Let me demonstrate. Now as you can see, as much as people want to say people don't play this game, people still play this game. And you're likely going to find players doing this objective and clearing it pretty quick. And I found even in World Tier 2, doing the Herald of Malphas was the best way I got legendaries and experience. Because if there's multiple players playing, the Herald of Malphas will spawn multiple times. And there you go. See, I got a legendary, I got crazy experience, and boom, everybody's happy, and it's a lot of fun because there's actual other players playing. The way Diablo 4 should be played. And as you can see, you could just rinse and repeat this process as long as you want. And I guarantee you there'll be people playing the game and doing the Herald of Malphas. Dope. And it will also reward you Grim Favors, so you can go to the Whisper Tree and get experience that way too. Now the second best way in my opinion, and the most fun and efficient way to gain experience, is by doing the vaults in the Great Hall. You simply have access to all of them once you complete the seasonal quest. And I'll show you guys in a demonstration of Vault Speedrun later. But let's move on to the Wave Clear and Single Target demonstration next. But here we are guys, my favorite place to demonstrate Wave Clear and Single Target damage, the Dope Tunnels. And just to be clear, I have no Sacred Armor on, and this is World Tier 3. And I won't be using any legendary Governing Stones. Alright guys, here we are. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to drop my Concealment, and then drop my Poison Traps. Then I'm going to Shadow Step out, pop my Twisting Blades and my Poison Imbue, pop my potions, because I'm taking a lot of damage here, because I'm kind of standing in the thick of it, but we'll be alright, we're a rogue. Kind of jump out of battle, bob in and out, go regenerate our health on something else. Jump back in the fray. Just look for the potions, it really helps, but we should be alright. There we go. Once the Poison Imbue and the Twisting Blades goes off, everything just starts melting. Sweet. Wave Clear. Alright guys, here we are at the boss, and I'm going to demonstrate some rotation and single target damage. So we're going to go Concealment first. We're going to litter the area with our Poison Traps. Then we're going to pop out with our Twisting Blades, pop our Poison Imbue. And just watch the enemy melt. Just watch out for the Poison Pots here, because, I mean, the poison he puts on the ground. But as you can see, like, no sacred armor on. Doing some crazy damage. Does some really good single target damage. Just try not to stand still too long. But pretty good single target damage for no sacreds. Twisting Blades, spam Puncture and Twisting Blades. Good night, single target damage. Alright guys, so that does it for the Wave Clear and single target damage. Let's do that Vault Run next. Alright guys, so here we are in World Tier 2. We're going to do a Vault Speed Run. Now this is just to show you how efficiently you can get experience and also how many legendaries you get from doing a Vault Run. And the reason I'm demonstrating a Vault Speed Run this way is because it's the best way to have fun, gain experience, and get legendary loot to prep you for World Tier 3. So once you're in the Great Hall, you can pick any vault, and I suggest the one that gives you Grim Favors. That way, once you get all your Grim Favors, you can go to the Tree of Whispers or the Whisper Tree and hand in your Grim Favors for extra experience. Alright guys, here we are in the vault. I'm going to do my best to get through this in one shot. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the Zoltan's Warding or the Zoltan statue. We're going to get, you only need 20. You don't need more than 20 at World Tier 2. Because you only get one chest at the end. But, yeah. Better be safe than sorry, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to level 3 here. Just going to run through this. I want to get through these as fast as possible, right? Because all the good stuff's at the end. And even if you see how that legendary is on the screen, even if I don't manage to pick it up, once I leave the vault, it will be in my chest. So even if you don't pick it up, you'll still get your legendaries as they drop. The rares you won't get, however, but that's okay. And again, I was talking about experience here. The best way to get experience is to kill all the enemies, you know? You have enough resistance to do it, so take the time if you want. But I'm just trying to show you guys the end of the vault and why I suggest you do it. Alright, there's a locked door. We gotta find the way out of there now. Where's the key? There it is. Okay, it's in the middle of the room here. So just be careful while you do the keystone. This is a hard one to... You kind of have to clear... I think I've mentioned this in previous videos. You kind of have to clear this room before you get that key. Because not only are you surrounded by traps, but enemies also attack you. So like later in the game... once you get to a higher level, you're not going to be able to just stand there and take it. So be very careful and very cautious to clear that specific room first. Especially around that key. Where the traps are around it too. Alright, here we go. I think this is it and we're in the room. Alright. Let's open that door. Here we go. Not too bad. Alright, so 30 seconds. Stay alive. In this specific room, go up to these totems and clear them first. Again, you only need like one stack of Zoltan's Warding. You know? What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my Concealment here. Got my Poison Trap in the middle. I feel like this build is so clean. Like Twisting Blades just does so much damage. And even if you hit the enemy once, the poison damage really starts to do work. Especially on the single target damage. That way you clear these rooms quite fast. And there we go, we did it. Just get this last enemy here, Poison Trap him up. Oh, missed it, it's okay. Boom. Pop the chest. Boom. See, rare loot. We get our stones. And in this room, you get a master chest, and then you only need one charge of Zoltan's Warding. And boom. You get legendaries, you get stones, you get everything you need, and you get Grim Favor. It's awesome. Best way, fastest way to level up. Alright guys, well that does it for the Vault Run, just to show you guys the fastest, best way, in my opinion, to get experience. But let's move on to that build summary next. As for the aspects, you guys can go back to the beginning of the video and I'll chapter it there for you. Or you can go to the link in the description to Mobalytics and you can see it there. As for skills, we're going Puncture, then we're going Twisting Blades, then we're going Shadow Step, Poison Trap, Concealment, and finally Poison Imbue. As for Specialization, we're going Combo Points. As for the Seneschal, for the Governing Stone, the only one I suggest you go is Reconstruct. And then for the Tuning Stones, go Safeguard Support and go Resource Support. As for the fastest way to get experience, I suggest you do the dope tunnels. But if you want a more enriching experience, I suggest you do the seasonal objectives, especially the ones that reward Grim Favors. Or you can do the vaults to have a whole lot of fun, get great experience, and great loot. Well, that does it for my rogue leveling guide. I hope you guys enjoyed. And guys, don't worry about liking and subscribing. If you guys enjoyed today's video or brought you any kind of value, that's all I could ask for. Thank you so much. But feel free to let me know in the comments if you enjoyed my video or if you think there's any other ways I can improve my build guides. Well, I'm going to get back to grinding this rogue. I want to try out some new rogue builds. Well, that does it for me. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm your boy Jadiro. Sign out for now. Peace.